All right, let's dive into one of the most powerful stories ever told, the journey of Yusuf. This is a truly epic tale. We're talking betrayal, faith, and ultimately forgiveness. And the whole thing kicks off not with some big battle or a royal decree, but with something much quieter, a single prophetic dream.
And really, that's the central question of this entire story. How can a single dream literally write someone's destiny? We're going to see how one vision, this message someone gets while they're asleep, can kick off a chain of events so huge, so profound, that it doesn't just shape one person's life, it shapes the fate of an entire nation.
So, our story gets started not with some big action, but with a divine message, a message that was delivered to a young boy, Yusuf. Now, I want to be clear, this was no ordinary dream. Imagine this. Yusuf sees 11 stars, the sun, and the moon, and they're all bowing down to him. It was incredibly vivid, super powerful, and it was so clear that this was way more than just, a figment of his imagination. This was a message from Allah. So, when Yusuf tells his father, Yaqub, about this dream, his father gets it. Instantly, he understands the significance. And his advice is, well, it's both a promise and a pretty serious warning. He totally recognized the amazing destiny promised in that dream, but he also knew people. He knew the human heart, and he was worried, really worried, about the kind of jealousy this would spark in Yusuf's brothers. And as it turns out, his father's fears were spot on. The brothers, they already resented how much their dad loved Yusuf. So when they get wind of this dream, whoa, their jealousy just explodes. It becomes the catalyst that turns resentment into outright hatred, and eventually it hardens into a dark, calculated plot to get rid of him. And this is where the story takes its first huge, dramatic turn. The love of a family is completely shattered. Yusuf goes from being this protected, beloved son to being thrown into a world of total darkness and isolation. And the worst part? He was betrayed by his own blood. So, they lead him out into the middle of nowhere and just throw him into a deep, empty well. Can you even imagine the terror, the confusion? You can almost hear his desperate pleas echoing as they just turn and walk away, leaving him completely alone. Right there, in the dark, his first great test of sabr, of patience, had begun. Then there's this little glimmer of hope. A caravan of travelers finds him, but that hope doesn't last long. Instead of being rescued, he's taken to a foreign land, to Egypt, and sold as a slave. His ordeal was really just getting started. So on the surface, it looks like Yusuf's life is just spiraling from one tragedy to another, right? But underneath it all, every single step was part of a bigger, divine plan. And this is where we really start to see his iman, his faith, shine through. It's this unshakable belief that even in all this suffering, there was a purpose, a plan that nobody could see at the time, but one that was perfect in its design. Okay, so years go by. Yusuf grows into a man who's known for his incredible integrity and also his beauty. But then comes another huge test. The wife of his master tries to seduce him, and he refuses, flat out. He just says, "I fear Allah." Well, that conviction, that deep iman, gets him falsely accused and thrown into prison. But even there, in a dungeon, his faith doesn't waver for a second. And here's the irony of it all. The very place that was supposed to be his punishment, the prison, it actually becomes the stage for his miraculous comeback. His absolute lowest point becomes the foundation for his greatest rise. It's unbelievable. Just look at this trajectory. It's wild. You go from beloved son to the bottom of a well, from a slave to a prisoner. And then, somehow, against all odds, he rises to become one of the most powerful men in all of Egypt. It is just an incredible story of resilience. So, you've got to be asking, how did he do it? How does that even happen? Well, it all comes back to his gift. See, in prison, Yusuf got this reputation for being able to interpret dreams with just stunning accuracy. It was a God-given talent. And eventually, word of this unique skill made its way all the way up to the highest authority in the land, the king of Egypt himself. Turns out, the king was being haunted by this dream that nobody, nobody, could figure out. So Yusuf gets summoned from his prison cell, and he interprets it with perfect clarity. He says, Egypt is going to have 7 years of incredible abundance, but they'll be followed by 7 years of a devastating famine. And that foresight, it literally saved the entire nation. So, because of this incredible wisdom, Yusuf is freed. Not just freed, he's made the vizier of Egypt, basically put in charge of the whole nation's food supply.
And this, my friends, sets the stage for the story's powerful climax. We're talking about a reunion he never, ever expected, and what is truly the ultimate test of his character.
Sure enough, the famine that Yusuf predicted hits, and it is bad. So severe that people are traveling from all over just to get grain. And who shows up among them? His own brothers, the very same men who left him for dead all those years ago. And there they are, standing right in front of him, begging for food with absolutely no clue who they're talking to.
So, after putting them through a series of tests, just to see what kind of men they've become, Yusuf finally reveals himself, and he does it with this one shattering question. Think about it. He holds all the power now. He could get his revenge, he could throw them in prison, let them starve. The tension in that room must have been just unbearable.
And you can just feel the pure shock and terror in their response. That slow, dawning, horrifying realization that the brother they betrayed all those years ago is now this powerful man who literally holds their lives in his hands.
In this moment right here, this is the heart of the entire story. In a moment of absolute, total power, Yusuf chooses grace. He offers them not revenge, but complete, unconditional forgiveness. It's the ultimate act of maafi. A demonstration of mercy that just transcends all those years of pain and betrayal.
So when you boil this whole epic journey down, there are these three profound lessons that we've seen woven through the entire thing. First, there's Sabr, that incredible patience he showed, in the well and in prison. Then there's Iman, that unshakable faith that a divine plan was always, always at work. And finally, Maafi, the incredible virtue of forgiveness, even for the deepest wounds imaginable.
So Yusuf brings his entire family to Egypt, including his father, who had been grieving for him all this time. And as his 11 brothers, his father and his mother all bow to him out of respect and gratitude, that vision from his childhood, the 11 stars, the sun, and the moon, was finally and so beautifully fulfilled.
And all of this leaves us with a final, really searching question for ourselves. See, the story of Yusuf isn't just about a dream. It's about what we do when life comes full circle. It really forces us to ask, if you were in his place, with all the power in the world over the people who wronged you, could you find it in your heart to truly forgive?